Peace, family. It's Zen the God, Zen the Wave, Young Aries, and today we're here to get straight to the topic. You know I'm wearing red, my color. But today we are here to discuss my dossier, Spiritual Ascension and Black Supremacy. We are on divine totality and meditative awareness. Now, what is divine totality? I'm gonna give you an analogy, some type of comparison for you to understand this. Now, think of yourself as a hamster running through a rat race. The wheel in which the hamster run in is the matrix. So we're the hamster going around this endless loop. Now, what is the wheel itself? What is the motion? This is the permeable, mutable, changeable matrix. This hamster is going through heights of happiness and lows of sadness, feelings of bliss and feelings of anger. This hamster goes constantly around this law of polarity, always going up and down, finding happiness temporarily, going back to sadness temporarily, coming back to happiness temporarily, going back to sadness temporarily. Now, divine totality and meditative expansion is the topic. Now, when this hamster takes himself out the matrix, which is the wheel, this is where divine totality kicks in. Now the hamster is able to observe the wheel, which is the laws of polarity, which is the emotions, the watery substance of emotions. Emotions aren't solid. You feel this way one minute, then you feel that way. Now the hamster can finally leave the emotions. He can leave the matrix and look at the matrix outside of it rather than in it. This is divine totality. Now he sees the will and the totality. He sees the will and the whole realm of reality. Now the hamster finally left the loop. He finally left the rat race. Now he remains still in solitude and divine totality. Now he's forever in a blissful state of inner harmony because he stopped running for happiness just to find sadness. He stopped leaving sadness to find happiness, and he left the wheel itself. Now, the hamster is at a point of meditative expansion. Now, since the hamster is out the wheel, it can now expand its brain. It can now expand its consciousness because there's no mind. It can now expand its consciousness to something other than the wheel. Now that hamster that was running that human rat race, the laws of polarity, happiness and sadness, all being one in this permeable, more malleable, mutable, water type emotional energy. Now the hamster can find peace. Now the hamster out the wheel, out the matrix, is now exposed to something out of his realm of reality. Now this is where the expansion kicks in. Now the hamster could start entertaining new streams of consciousness. Now the hamster could start observing new realms of reality outside of emotions and polarity. Now the hamster could see different laws. Now it's no longer stuck in the laws of polarity. Now the hamster is open to things outside of the wheel. Now the hamster is considered outside of the matrix. Now the hamster can see beings of a higher reality. Now the hamster can see totality. Now the hamster can see the outer workings of the wheel, which is the womb. Now the hamster could look around the wheel and see how it works. It can see the constructs, the nails, the screws of the matrix rather than being in it. So once you escape the matrix through deep meditation, you're outside observing it. Since you're out the matrix, now you are open to expand your mind to new ideas you could never fathom. Now you could expand your mind to new colors, new feelings you never fathomed. Now you could see things that were never considered possible in your realm of reality. If you could think it, it can happen. Now this hamster is exposed to expansion. So now the hamster could run back in the wheel due to his fear of expansion and new things and keep running the rat race. Or it could divinely ascend outside of the wheel and rise up to a realm of reality that's higher than that will. Then once that hamster rises to the next realm of reality, the next matrix is back in a new rat race. So the hamster leaves the wheel in a lower density to move to a higher expansion of a higher awareness in the next reality. Now the hamster has to run the rat race in a higher realm of reality, leave that matrix to go to an even higher realm of reality. So now it's like a rabbit hole. Divine totality shows you that everything is a cycle. Now, once you finally leave the cycle, you are now a divine descended being, because you are no longer in the rat race. Rather, you choose to experience it and be over it. Now the hamster have ascended the wheel. Now he's overstanding what he was in, and now he has better knowledge of the constructs. So when he has to go back in the matrix to operate and teach his people, he'll know the workings. He'll know how to move the malleable, mutable energy. He'll know how to move around emotions, because it already mastered and overstood that lower concept of reality. Divine totality is leaving the matrix and having a still frame of awareness and simply watching it and understanding it and learning about it. So once you master that, them laws of polarity, those laws of operation within that realm of reality and that will, the hamster now has to expand. The hamster has to find new constructs outside of his reality to entertain his desire for spiritual ecstasy. Now he goes to the next realm of reality and he experiences. Now he sees life outside of the constructs of this reality. And that is what you should be doing. Meditate and find the infinite power from within and ascend. Peace. Don't be the hamster that runs in the wheel. Be the smart one that say, you know what? I'm tired of running this wheel. And he finally left it. Now the hamster finally left the wheel. Now it's like, oh shit, I'm in a glass box. You get it? The hamster finally leaves that matrix, then realized he was in a matrix. So now the hamster leaves the first matrix, which is the wheel. Then it realizes, oh shit, I'm in a glass dome. I'm in an even bigger matrix. Now the hamster has to oversend the glass cage in which it confines in, and that is its mental construct. So now it left the physical, now it's in the spiritual. Then it realizes the spiritual is caught within the astral realm, which is the glass dome around it. So it was in a matrix, Now it's at the first matrix. Now it must oversend the second matrix and go to the next realm of reality. So yes, family, this is like a wormhole. Peace. Zen the God, Zen the Wave. Let's get it! Young Aries.